So Melissa Gorga spoke out recently on a podcast and said that if Teresa Giudice were to return to the Real Housewives of New Jersey, that she has no interest in being part of the show. Yeah, right. Well, you better believe we're going to talk about it. Welcome back to Damieon After Dark. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please click my face down there and then you can subscribe. Also, click that thumbs up button and like this video. That helps me get into the YouTube algorithm. If you want to join the conversation and leave me your thoughts and opinions on what Melissa had to say, get in the comment section below. And last but not least, if you want to join the Damieon After Dark movement, in the description box below will be some ways that you can donate. I really appreciate all the support from you guys. It doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you so much, okay? So, Melissa Lying Gorga, or as some like to call her, Malire. Melissa was on Two T's in a podcast. That is Teddy Mellencamp and Tamra Judge's podcast. And she did an interview with them regarding this most recent season of Jersey, right? Now, in that interview, Melissa was asked about the future of the show. Would she want to return? You know, what does the future look like? And Melissa said, quote, "Because of all the rumors that are out there, I am fully prepared for anything. I think I would realize that Teresa and I are two extremely different characters. So if Bravo decides to go that route and kind of the darker whatever it is route, then I need to say that is not a show that I want to be on anyway," which it truly isn't. Melissa went on to say, "I do want to be on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I do not want to be on that toxic shit. So as long as she is there and that whole thing would come back, I wouldn't find it as a loss." First of all, how ungrateful of you, Melissa. It's almost like an ungrateful child that's been given something back to back, years after year, just giving parents, giving them money, giving them, and they're just so ungrateful for it. They're like, eh. That's what I gather from this, because my thing, Melissa, is first of all, how are you going to say what you just said, that you don't want to come back to that toxic show because of Teresa, when your entire storyline has been Teresa? If Teresa doesn't come back, Melissa, what are you going to talk about? Because we've went down the line of every fake storyline you've had. The fake sister, the fake garbage truck business, the fake baby that you wanted to have, the fake pizzeria, the fake singing career, all these fake storylines that lasted one season. Teresa has been your most consistent storyline. So I'm confused as to why you want her gone so bad. And y'all want to know what the truth really is here? The truth is, Melissa's trying to get ahead of the story because Melissa knows that she's not coming back. Y'all want to be real for a second? Melissa knows that she's not coming back, right? She knows it's over. Listen, they were going to get rid of her last season. I could have sworn it was going to happen last season, but I believe they gave Melissa and Teresa one more chance together to see if they would come back together and, you know, make this thing work. And by the way, there was a news report out there that came out a few days ago that said that Teresa and Melissa were forcing to work with one another. There is a story going on out there saying that Melissa and Teresa came together for the sake of the show. They're coming together for the sake of the show to save the show. That's not true. That was a bullshit lie, for one. And number two, we don't need Melissa to save the show. I think people forget that Teresa started this show without Melissa, and it was successful for 2 years before Melissa ever came on. So we don't need Melissa to save anything. It's very simple here. It's very simple. Get rid of Melissa and let's start some new dynamics. Let's bring in some of Teresa's new friends. Let's bring in, some of Dolores's new friends. I don't know, just something different, because we're all tired of seeing the Melissa and the Teresa of it all. And we the fans said that last season. Do y'all remember? Last season when we were dealing with the Teresa and Melissa of it all, and we all said that we're sick of it because they don't speak to one another, they avoid one another. We said it's time for Melissa to go. They brought her back. They brought her back. Now we see what's happened. The show is so toxic, it's beyond repair. But Melissa's saying this because she's trying to get ahead of the story. She knows that she's not going to be asked back. And when she's not asked back, she can refer to these interviews and say, well, I said in an interview I wasn't coming back anyway. I didn't want to be a part of that toxic show anyway, so I don't care that they didn't ask me back. But deep down, she cares. Deep down, she cares, y'all, because here's the thing. Melissa is making over $1 million a season doing this show. This is her and Joe's only income. Joe has sat back for years, kicked his feet up, and enjoyed all the good things that have come to them regarding money and fame. And listen, I don't blame him. Listen, if my spouse was having to show up to work 3 months out of the year and they were making $1 million, I would kick back too. And I would also, if it was me making that kind of money, I would tell my husband the same. You ain't got to work, baby. We're making great money. I'm making great money on this show. You ain't got to go to work, right? So they can act like it's not affecting them and they're so unbothered. But at the end of the day, Melissa and Joe love this more than Teresa does. Seriously. I get the vibes that Melissa and Joe would sell their own children to stay on this show. Honestly. So while I think that this is Melissa's way of getting ahead of the story in case she is fired, I also think that there's another side to it. There's also another side to it, to where she's also saying, okay, I'm going to say this in case they fire me, but I'm also going to say it so in case they're going to bring me back, they know I'm not coming back I'm not coming back if Teresa's there, right? So there's kind of like two sides to this. Yeah, I'll come back, Bravo, if you want. She's giving them an ultimatum without directly giving them an ultimatum. She tried dancing around it, but come on, we know exactly what it is. When you read that, that's an ultimatum. Straight up, point blank, period. Can you give your employer an ultimatum? Ultimatums never really work out well. They never really work out well. And the only time I've seen that work on Bravo is with Candy. Y'all know Candy on Atlanta Housewives. She didn't want to film with Phaedra, and they never brought Phaedra back. And then the one season Candy decides to quit, Phaedra comes back. So I don't know if you would call that Bravo falling to Candy's ultimatum or not. But let's just say that Bravo does listen to ultimatums. I don't see them listening to Melissa's. They're not going to listen to Melissa's ultimatum. They're not. And I don't care what anybody says. I will bet $100 right now. Shit, I'll bet 1,000. When the Real Housewives of New Jersey returns, Melissa Gorga will not return unless Teresa's there. Okay, that's the only way. For all you Melissa fans, the only way Melissa would ever return to this show is if Teresa's there. And that tells you she's never returning because they're not going to bring both of them back. They're not bringing both of them back. And if they have to choose, They're definitely choosing Teresa. And I don't care what anybody says. And am I a fan of Teresa's? Yes. But that is not fan bias. That is not bias whatsoever. That is factual. That is when you look at statistics, when you look at numbers, when you look at advertisers. The network is more invested in Teresa. They don't give a shit about your feelings as a fan. They don't give a shit if you think Teresa and Louis are toxic. Bravo has more money, has more stock invested in Teresa. Okay? And here's another thing. Everybody says Louis so toxic. Louis the downfall of the show. Bravo is salivating at that. The more toxic, the better. Hello? And two, Louis got a lot of questionable things going on right now surrounding his business. I don't know if he's still in that same business, but I know that he was a business partner with one of these apps. He was a business partner to this app. He wasn't the main owner. He was like an investor into this app, and this app they say was kind of like a scam in a way. You have to go look into it. It's called what's it called? Vivian. It's something with a V. Anyway, if there is anything unsavory going on there with Louis and his business, Bravo is going to want to capture it. Bravo is going to want to see it all go down, okay? So they're not going to get rid of Teresa. What do they have? And also they want to see Teresa and Louis' relationship. God forbid Teresa and Louis split up. They want to be there to follow it. What is Melissa going to give us? Her and Joe have been married 20-something years, almost 20 years, or however long. I don't see them splitting up anytime soon. And for those that want Melissa to return, I am convinced that y'all hate Teresa so much that your hate for her overshadows all the horrible things that Melissa and Joe have done to this woman. Honestly. Not only this woman, but her children as well. Because do we want to talk about it? Especially thanks to my savior Bravo on X, on Twitter. Because he really went down the list of things that is so true that Melissa and Joe have done. Like saying that Gia and the other girls have hate in their heart. That they're hateful. Right? And he said this on national television. This is not he said, she said. It's on the show. And then we can't forget when Melissa accidentally said that Gia had hate in her heart from her account. She said it from her account only to get on Joe's account and say the same thing word for word. That's how you know she was on the wrong account. She said it on her account saying Gia has hate in her heart. Then she went and got on Joe's account real quick and said it verbatim. Deleted her original comment, came back and said it verbatim on Joe's page. And then speaking of the kids, can we go back to this past season, the season finale when they were at Rail's Steakhouse and Melissa decides to start with Teresa first? Because y'all remember when Danielle lunged at Jennifer and Teresa stood up and said, "That's a fucking enough. Like, what the fuck," right? She was talking to Danielle and Melissa could not stand it. Melissa could not wait for the moment that she got to engage with Teresa, and she took that moment to engage. And what did Melissa say? They learn from the best, white trash, right? And what did Teresa say back? Whore. 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 Iconic, by the way. Whore. And what did Melissa say? Melissa said, quote, "I'm going to tell Antonia you called her mom a whore." Okay. First of all, usually when you insult somebody, they tend to insult you right back. And you started that shit, Melissa. But that's not even what it's about. I want you guys to really think about it. Look at what Melissa's doing. She's a master manipulator here. When Teresa called her a whore, she's going to say, I'm going to tell Antonia you called her mom a whore. First of all, Antonia is a grown woman in college. Antonia is not studying the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Her thirsty, fame-obsessed mother may be studying it. But 18, 19-year-old, young, impressionable, not Melania, Antonia, who is out here in college trying to learn, trying to be something in the world, she's not worried about what Teresa called you. Antonia's probably thinking, Mom, what did you do to her? I just thought that moment was very telling in the season 14 reunion when she said, I'm going to tell Antonia that you called her mom a whore. Why would you even say that? Could you? And on top of the horrible shit that Melissa and Joe have done to Teresa, Melissa's family has also done horrible shit. Melissa's sisters and her mom said horrible things, liked horrible tweets. Donna Marco, Melissa's mom, as recent as a few days ago, was online talking shit about Teresa. Teresa was on video seen pouring alcohol down someone's throat. She was hosting an event. Teresa was hosting an event. She was pouring liquor down a fan's throat. And Melissa's mom commented and said, you're just trying to be like your brother. Like, lady, Melissa's mom is 76 years old. And online acting like this. Now I see where her daughter gets it from. And you know what else? I really do feel like that Melissa is envious. How ironic that her clothing store is called Envy, and she's one of the envious cast members on the show. I think she was very envious that Gia Giudice gets all the attention that she does, that Gia gets the confessionals, that Gia is, in the forefront, especially this season. I feel like Melissa's like, well, why doesn't Antonia get that? Why doesn't Antonia get those same opportunities? Mind you, I don't think Antonia wants to even be in front of the camera. I don't think Gia cares to be in front of the camera as much, but I think she does enjoy it more than Antonia does, if that makes sense. Because we know Gia's going to school to be an attorney. If Gia really wanted to be a reality star, she wouldn't be going to college. I think she's having fun. She's enjoying what reality TV stardom can bring her. She's making money, but she's going to ultimately go this lawyer route, this attorney route, which I admire, seeing as what her father went through. She wants to help him. But I do feel like Melissa has always been jealous of, it's sick. I know it sounds sick, y'all, and it sounds weird, but you have to look at it. You never hear Teresa talking bad about Antonia or Joey or any of the Gorga kids. She doesn't. Find me the receipts. Find me the proof. Now, if you want to talk about Melissa and Joe talking about Gia, we can find you the receipts. We can find you the proof, baby, because it's out there, black and white and in color. Black and white on print and in color on the televisions. What do you guys think about what Melissa had to say regarding her ultimatum? Do you think Bravo should listen to her ultimatum? Should they listen to what should they listen to what Melissa has to say and not bring Teresa back? Would you? I want to hear from all my subscribers. I'm so curious to know. Let's just say Bravo gets rid of Teresa and they give her a spinoff and they bring Melissa back and they center the reboot around Melissa. Let's just say that happens. Hell will freeze over before that happens, but let's just say it happens. Would you watch? Are you watching a reboot centered around Melissa? And if Melissa does come back, I want y'all to tell me in the comments, what are we going to watch? What are we going to watch? Her and Joe's dynamic? Her and Joe's relationship? Her and Joe sitting around the table talking about how they miss the kids and they're gone to college? I'm just like, there's nothing else that we can watch. Their story has been told. A lot of people on reality TV, unfortunately, after a while, they've shown us everything that they can show us, right? We've seen everything that Melissa and Joe can show us. I want to hear from you guys. Make sure you join the conversation and get in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you never miss out on all the juicy reality TV news that's out there, all the gossip. You don't want to miss it, okay? So get in the comment section, subscribe to the channel, like this video. That helps me get into the algorithm, and in the description box below will be some ways that you can donate if you guys want to donate, because this is my part-time job now. I love you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Damien After Dark. See ya.